Lord Tremendous here. Got another battle report here for you. 2,000 point battle. Tomb Kings versus Wood Elves. This is a mirror match from my last battle report. My buddy a few days later tweaked his list, I tweaked my list, and we played again. And it's a really brutal fight. It really is. So sit back, relax, and get ready to see the carnage. Here's my list, and it is still a Grand Army, not the Mortuary Cult. I'm still experimenting with the Tomb King. Don't know how I feel about him yet, so I tried up a little something different. I've got 980 points in characters total. I still got Inamedagacy on a Bone Dragon, level 4 Wizard, Lore Familiar, Talisman Protection, Flail of Skulls, all that good stuff. I've got my Tomb King back up. Here's my General. He's on a Chariot this time. I gave him the Armor of Meteoric Iron and the Destroyer of Eternities. I figured he basically has a 5-up, 5-up, and with the Destroyer of Eternities, I don't have to roll to hit anymore. I just roll a d6, and if I can roll 4 or more, then I get more attacks than I've ever landed with him in my history. So, on paper, it seems like a good idea. Let's see how it works out in practice. Then I've got my Baby Mage still with his normal kit, level 2 Wizard, Amulet of the Serpent, using Elementalism. And I've got his twin, another Mortuary Priest, level 2 Wizard, Elementalism with the Ruby Ring of Ruin. I brought him in here for just the extra magic missile and the ability to raise just a little bit more, because Arise is overpowered. I have 543 points in core, starting with 4 Stalkers this time, all with Ambushers. I just like them, I really do. I've got a brick of 30 Skeleton Archers with standard Master of Bows and War Bows, and then I've got 3 Skeleton Chariots, which is basically a bunker for the Tomb King, standard Musician, and I gave him the Mirage Banner, so it's a little bit harder to shoot at him. And then I have my standard 3 Necropolis Knights with Banner and Musician, and 6 Bowshati, and I threw an Ancient in there because I had the points. Here's my opponent's list, and it's mostly the same from the last battle report. A few tweaks. He still has 829 points of characters. He's got his Glade Lord as his general and a Forest Dragon. Instead of Ogre Blade, he's got the Spear of Twilight and a Talisman of Protection. The Spear of Twilight is the first time I've ever seen it. Basically, all wounds it always wounds on a 3-up, which is kind of awesome. And then, of course, the Befuddlement of Mischiefs and an Annoyance of Netlings. And he's still got a Spellweaver with the exact same kit from last battle report. She's on an Elven Steed, level 4 Wizard with Battle Magic, Oaken Staff, Ruby Ring of Ruin, Resplendence of Luminescence. His core pretty much stays the same. He's got 9 Deepwood Scouts times 2 with Hagbane tips, 10 Glade Guard with Hagbane tips, and there was a Musician, and then 7 Glade Riders with Hagbane tips, Reserve Move, and Cab Spears. In his special, rounding off his army, he's got 5 Wild Riders with shields, 20 Wildwood Rangers with full command. They have a War Banner and shields, and 5 Sisters of the Thorn with full command and Blackbriar Javelins. Here are my spells. I got Glittering Robe, Column of Crystal, Spectral Doppelganger, and the Mirage on Ida. On Baby Mage, I got Incantation of Cursed Blades and Summon Elemental Spirit. And on my twin Baby Mage, I got Incantation of Desert Wind and Summon Elemental Spirit. My opponent got Oaken Shield, Pillar of Flame, Fireball, and Tree Singing. Here's deployment. Pretty much a mirror match from the last one. The terrain's slightly different, but for the most part, it's all the same. We just do the default setup. On the left side there, I've got my Chariots with my Tomb King installed. I figured I got to test him out. I got to see what the Destroyer of Eternities can do, and if my plan is a good one. I've got Inamedagacy behind the woods, ready to get in there and charge any target opportunity that he can find. I've got my Archers in the center again because it worked last time, and I've got my Knights on the right flank getting ready to deal with anything that comes down there. On his side, on our left, he's got his Glade Lord on a Dragon, his Glade Riders with his Spellweaver. In the forest there, scouted up a little bit, are some Scouts. On the hill in the middle are his Guard. Right next to them are his Rangers. And then he's got the other unit of Scouts, Wild Riders, and Sisters of the Thorn on our far right there. That's pretty much it for deployment. Here's top of 1 after movement, and I actually got to go first. I know, I was surprised too, but I was excited about it. I did go into the shooting phase a little bit before I took this picture. That's why I've got the 2 Pillar of Flames out there, but the fact that both Baby Mages got them off is just amazing to me. Incantation of Cursed Blades and Incantation of Desert Wind went off, which was also exciting. My Chariots on the left flank there moved up to shoot at his Glade Riders, because, well, actually, I think they shoot at his Scouts. I probably should have shot at the Glade Riders, but, well. Inamedagacy moved up slightly. I should have probably put him into the woods. I just wasn't thinking. Yeah, pretty much a useless move there. Everything else pretty much stood still. I did move the knights over slightly to the left so that it would be a little bit longer before his wild riders charged into me, and that's it for up to the movement phase. We go into shooting. The Boshati take careful aim at the Rangers, and I think kill one, maybe two. I mean, it's got to start somewhere. And then my big brick of archers can draw line of sight onto the scouts. They do their evasive, but I can still see them. Not with as many, but we still shoot and we kill all but three, which felt really good. I'm not going to lie. The Tomb King's unit fires off their shots at the Glade Riders and drop one. I would have liked to do a lot more than that, but 5s and 4s, I'll take what I can get. After shooting, I do my reserve move, pushing the chariots back so that his general on a dragon can't easily charge me, and that the Boshati move up a little bit further so that they can get better shots off next turn. I thought about moving the archers, but honestly, I figured his rangers were going to have to move towards me, and that's really where I wanted to put my shooting, so they stayed still, and that's pretty much it. That brings us over here to the bottom of turn 1, and this is after movement. My Pillar Flames did go after his scouts, but missed, and the other Pillar Flames started moving towards the Rangers and the Guard, just to put a little pressure on him. He gets Oaken Shield off on his Glade Riders because I never stopped that spell for some reason. And yeah, they didn't really move up a whole lot. He just kind of repositioned his level 4. His general stayed where they were. Tree Sinking comes up to get in the way of the chariots. He did shoot at my chariots and do some damage, as you can see. I took this picture a little late. In the center, his rangers do move up towards the Boshati, which makes me think, oh crap, why did I move them up? And on the right side there, his Wild Riders and his sisters come shooting forward, and I'm in a lot of danger. His scouts came around the house up there on the right flank, but honestly, they don't do a whole lot this game. That's pretty much it for movement. In an effort to establish dominance, his Glade Riders and his scouts shoot at my poor innocent chariots that only killed one Glade Rider and murders a chariot all by themselves, which is a little hurtful. Wood Elf shooting is definitely better than most other shooting, and I apologize. And then his Guard fire at my Boshati and do a wound to him, which is just rude. Just absolutely rude. At the end of his shooting phase, he does his reserve move, which really just sees his Glade Guard and Spellweaver shift over behind the wood, so I can't get easy shots at him. And that's really it. That brings us over to top of 2 after movement, and there's not a ton. Itamedagasi goes into the woods a little bit further, because that's where he should have been all this time. He did get Glittering Robes off himself, so I'm feeling a little frisky. I just want to put some serious pressure on those scouts. I don't believe I move with the chariots at all. I decided to kind of stay put. There's really no reason to move. The Boshati move back a little bit so that the Rangers don't have an easy charge. My snakes back to the left a little bit. Well, shift to their left anyway, so that it's a difficult charge for the, Wild Riders, who are encroaching on my flank there. And the archers stay put because I need to deal with the Rangers. I'm quickly being outmaneuvered here, and I realize that, but I'm hoping that I do really good in the shooting phase, making the Rangers at least something I can ignore for a minute. Yeah, that's about it. In the shooting phase, the chariots take careful aim at the scouts and put every single one of their shots into one guy, killing him, but only killing one. And the combined efforts of the archers and the Boshati kill about 6 or 7 of the Rangers, reducing his number down to about 13. At the end of the shooting phase, I do my reserve move, and the archers on the hill just kind of turn to face the incoming Wild Riders. They can still see the Rangers mostly. The Boshati are blocking line of sight to some, now that they're not completely on the hill. But when the Wild Riders come around the side, hopefully they don't slam into the side of the snakes. We'll see how that goes. And it'll give me a chance to shoot at them and hopefully take them off the table. That's it. Here's bottom of 2 after movement, and his Wild Riders did charge after the snakes because they had to, and failed miserably, which is really, really good. His Rangers reformed or redressed the ranks, or whatever you want to call it, so basically now they're just like 10 to 15 wide and red hot death. This is not good. This is not good at all. His scouts stayed where they were on the left flank. His general comes up because it's time for him to get into this fight. His Glade Riders just kind of reposition slightly so that his caster has better line of sight. And his sisters come around, kind of, but they mostly stay behind the hill. The scouts don't really move at all. And as you can see, we went into the shooting phase, and he gets a couple of Pillar of Flames off. That's about it. In the shooting phase is Rotten Guardsmen shoot at my beautiful Boshati and do a wound to them, besmirching their elegance. And then Pouty Lips goes and puts all this effort into hurting my skeleton archers for no reason and dropping one of them. I rolled a lot of regen. He does his reserve moves, just kind of refocusing the Glade Riders behind the woods again, and that's pretty much it. With no combat, we go over here to top of 3. There's a little bit of movement. I'm able to get, as you can see, we go into the shooting phase before I remember to take this picture because things are getting a little stressful. I did try to dispel his tree singing and failed. The Chariots tried to charge his general and failed. Itametigasi backs up behind the forest because he failed. The archers, I'm able to get Incantation of Cursed Blades and Desert Wind off in that unit. The Pillar of Flame does bounce through everything, does like a wound to the knights. The Ushapti, if they took any wounds, they got healed. And while my archers are beat up, I think I was able to put some back. My Pillar of Flame did a little bit of damage to his rangers, as you noticed. There's only about 8 or 9 left. I did shoot at them with everything that I had, and that's why they're in the state that they're in, which is really, really good. I did scoot the knights over a little bit to the left because I'm still worried about that flank charge from the Wild Riders. Probably should have just turned to face them, but it would have put the rangers into range to charge him as well, and I just didn't trust my luck. So I banked on scooting over and hoping that he couldn't make the charge again. We'll see how that goes. Not a whole lot else happened during my turn, so we go to bottom of 3 after movement, and things are going bad. The Pillar Flame does bounce through the archers, the Bushati, and the knights once again, and I take some more damage across the board. Not a ton, mostly the skeleton archers. Everything else maybe 1 wound, not a big deal. As you can see, his Wild Riders do charge and make it into the flank of my knights, because of course they do, and they pass all their dangerous terrain for going through the Pillar of Flame because, well, they have moved through cover. The odds of him rolling 1s and 1s are 0. His general, he drops the tree singing, charges into my chariots, no problem, slamming into them and weathering their... I think I got to stand and shoot, not that it mattered. His scouts come forward and get into the woods. His sisters stay right where they are, and the guard laugh from their hill. Meanwhile, Pouty Face and her riders go into the woods because things are getting safer really, really quick here. That's it. In the shooting phase, his guards shoot at the Boshapti and put another wound through on him, which again, very rude of them. And then we go into combat. As you can see, the Wild Riders destroy the Knights and then overrun into the Boshati. Nothing I could do about it. And yes, he took dangerous terrain checks for the entire unit, which I think is too many, and passed every single one of them because the dice gods are not my friend. Not my friend. No, it is what it is. I'm just being a brat. So in combat over here, I learned a valuable lesson. Having your idiot general with the Destroyer of Eternities in a chariot against a dragon is a stupid, stupid thing to do. Because what are you going to roll on the Destroyer of Eternities when you do the scything attack? That's right, you're going to roll a 1 and then fail to wound with it because that's awesome. And then the dragon is going to raffle stomp you, win combat. Your general's going to have 4 wounds on him and give ground 2 inches, of which your opponent will intelligently follow up on. So, yeah. I don't know why I think that my Tomb King is a king, considering the only thing that he's able to do in these combats is get friggin' crowned. Yes, I'm very frustrated. So we go over here to top of 4, and I want you to see something. Itametigasi, who is a man amongst skeletons, was able to heal that useless, stupid, garbage Tomb King completely, okay? He's fully healed. The way it sits right now, if no wounds are done, I have a banner, I'm winning by 1. Well, I also have Musician, because I don't think I have close order with the chariots. Either way, I'm winning the combat if nothing happens. It's like the last round never even happened, so everything should be good, right? My opponent doesn't even have the charge to add to anything, so it's like a neutral combat. It's wonderful. Itametigasi gave that idiot Tomb King every opportunity in the world to be a king.
And then he walked into the forest because he wants Pouty Face to know that he's here. He even summoned the 4 stalkers I had in reserve to come up and you know, give her a what for walloping, hopefully. We'll see how that goes. Other than that, everything else stays still because it's either in combat or it's an archer, and it benefits me to hold him still. In the shooting phase, Itamedagasi spits hot death with Badonkadonk all over 4 of the Glade Riders and 1 of the Scouts. And if you can believe it, not one of the partials on the Riders actually hit, but the one on the Scout did, and I killed it with the wound. My Skeleton Archers over here, I believe, finished off all the Rangers. I don't think there's any left, which was just outstanding. I might not win this game, but at least I killed that brick of 20 whirling dervishes of death. I feel good about that. Minor victory. We proceed into combat, and honestly, the Ushabti didn't do terrible, all things considered. I took 4 wounds. I think I did 1. Yep, I killed 1 of them. I lost by 2. I mean, what is it called? Indomitable 1. I gave ground 2 inches, and they followed up. This combat here. This motherless piece of shit Tomb King. I swear, he takes like 5 wounds in combat, right? He doesn't have an Ogre Blade. Between the Dragon and the Glade Lord, he takes like 5 or 6 wounds. So I'm like, all right, I could still do this. Destroy of Eternities. Scything attack. Roll a 1. Roll a 1 to wound. Everything on the chariot fails to wound. He does stomps. Kills him. Or not kills him, but with the combat res. Kills the Tomb King, just drops him dead. I think a chariot died from combat res as well. I think I'm down to 2. Yeah, he's not even worth looking at. He restrains, turns to face Itamedagasi, a real threat, and poops on the dust that was that piece of shit Tomb King. Fuck that Tomb King. I'm glad he's dead. I am actively rooting for a Wood Elf Glade Lord in this now because of the piss poor performance by that rotten trash Tomb King. May he never be resurrected. If he is ever resurrected, I hope it's as a zombie for the most degenerate vampire lord in the existence of this game. Fuck that guy. So that takes us to the bottom of 4 after movement, and his Glade Lord obviously goes into the flank of Itamedagasi and makes it no problem. His Glade Riders with Pouty Lips just kind of looks at the Stalkers and goes, well, the Dice Gods are on our side and you suck, so we're going to demolish you. The Glade Guards goes, we'll help! And then the Scouts and the Sisters, yeah, the Scouts on the right flank there, they do go into the woods a little bit, but that's really about it. The Sisters stay right where they're at. Shooting kicks into overdrive. The Glade Guard hit and wound and get enough through to kill one of the snakes outright. And then the Glade Riders shoot at him and are able to put 1 more wound on the Stalkers. So they're not doing great. That was followed up by a volley from Pouty Lips herself, putting 3 more wounds on the unit, killing a Stalker and putting 1 wound on the survivors. So yeah, they went from a formidable force to mostly negligible. And then because she knows I'm not going to be able to do anything about it, she puts Tree Singing up and raises a bunch of woods right in front of him, so I can't even charge him next turn. Well played by my opponent. We go into combat, and honestly, this is a flubfest. I think he does 1 wound and has a flank. I have close order. I don't do anything back to him. He wins by 1. I'm Indomitable 1. I give ground 2 inches, and I stop when I run into the archers. He, of course, has to follow up, and that's it. So at least the Ushabti are holding their own. His Glade Lord just beats the shit out of Itamedagasi. With combat res and everything like that, he puts 6 wounds on him. I give ground, stop when I run into the snakes, and he follows up. But, oh my god. I couldn't get my Assailment spell off because, of course, I can't. I can't hit or wound him at all because, of course, I can't. He needs 3s to hit me because of Glittering Robes, and of course he can. It's all going downhill quick. Sometimes you're the hammer, sometimes you're the nail, and guess what he's using that hammer to do? That takes us over here to top of turn 5, and I really don't have anything. All I can do with my Stalkers is move them up slightly into the, so I can maybe get some pot shots off on the Glade Riders and do basically nothing because I need, I think, 6s and 6s, so that's not going to do anything. His Pillar of Flames bounce through my stuff and do some damage. I don't even care. And yeah, I actually wanted to just delete the chariots because if I never see Tomb King chariots again, it'll be too soon. So that's it for my movement. I can literally do nothing else right, so we go into combat. And the Ushabti get their butts kicked a little bit on this one. I'm down to 4 guys. One has 2 wounds on him. But I can't give ground any further, so we just stay in combat. They're doing really well, considering. I wish I had been smarter and better, but considering how well they're holding up after my horrible, horrible playing, I'm very impressed with Ushabti. And in combat over here, Inamedagazi just gets demolished. He's got 4 combat res. I have 1. I think I had 7 wounds on him. He dies, and I blame the Tomb King. 100%. I blame that awful, awful Tomb King. I hope he rots in hell. And thankfully, my opponent does overrun, slams into the sides of the snakes, and hopefully makes their end as quick as he did with the Tomb Kings, because I just want it to end. That brings us over to the bottom of turn 5, and his Glade Riders and his caster move up because they're going to just start whittling away at the archers, who are mostly useless now. They did shoot last turn, and that's why scouts are like that. They evaded and got out of range, so I couldn't shoot them anymore, so it is what it is. It's not a lot of movement because there's not a lot of targets left on the table. I played like crap, and I'm glad my opponent is punishing me for it. I mean, I was trying to do it to him. Don't get me wrong. He's not being a dick. This is what I was trying to do to him. It just, I don't like it when I'm on this side of the punishment, you know? I don't remember exactly how many wounds he does or anything, but between the Pillar of Flames, his shooting from his Wild Riders, Pouty Face's magic, and the Glade Guard, I'm down to about, 4, 8... 12. Oh, no, that's right. And when I did Crumbles, both of the Mortuary Priests I rolled 11s for, so they're both dead. I lost a bunch of skeletons. He punched them up a little bit. The Ushabti lost some. The snakes were actually fine. So, yeah, it's going downhill quick. But that's what I have left of skeletons. Leads us into combat, and his general, like with all things that he runs into, are able to just smash through the undead like, it's like his sole purpose for existing. And you know what? He is fulfilling that purpose. Combat with the Boshati, it's actually going okay. I lose 1, he loses 1. I think he wins by 1 or 2. I give ground, he follows up. Same old, same old. But they're doing really well. They're the only things that are working for my army, and I'm not even working for the army. I know very well this is my fault, but so proud of the Ushabti. Love that unit. We go to top of 6, and yeah, I roll super high for my archers, killing most of them. The Pillar of Flames both go through them and do a bunch of damage. And I think I also lose another Ushabti due to that. Oh, and one of the chariots decides to evaporate, which, fuck those chariots. The only thing that happens is my archers turn to face his dragon. They shoot, they miss, and why am I surprised? Why am I surprised? Not 1 hit. Needing 5s, not 1 hit. Not that it really would have mattered, but it would have been nice to make him bleed a little bit. I'm whining, I know. Let's get to the combat. Combat goes poorly. Even though Ushabti's will is finally broken, and I blame myself. I'm down to 1 guy. He's just a unit champion. He was all the way on the left, so the perfectly wrongest place he could possibly be. Just outstanding. But he's got 1 wound left on him, and no hope. And that takes us to the bottom of 6. And I was wrong. I actually did lose the last Ushabti to combat res. I took that picture too early. His Wild Riders snap into the flank of the remaining archers. His general does the same thing. And honestly, there's nothing else worth doing, so we all just kind of hold still. In the shooting phase, Pouty Face and the archers are able to finish off that last useless, stupid piece of shit chariot, and I'm glad it's dead. And in combat, I kill his dragon, kill his Wild Riders, and my opponent surrenders, giving me the victory. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That didn't happen. What happened was every single skeleton got pulverized and got tabled. Aww. Oh, man. And there it is. There's the end of the game. No trace of my failure left on the table. I did very little to him. Oh, man. Now, I'm well aware that this was mostly my fault because of just how terrible I played this game. But, man, am I putting a lot of that on that Tomb King. Oh, that Tomb King, when he rolled 2 ones for the amount of hits with the Destroyer of Eternities. It broke my spirit, broke my spine, back, whatever you want to call it. It broke me to my core, and I could feel it. I could feel the dice turn on. I could feel everything just going on. I made a ton of mistakes. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't just the Tomb King. I played awful, but I am putting 85% of the blame on the Tomb King, and nothing you can say in the comment section will change my mind.
Oh, I don't know if I said this or not, but fuck that Tomb King. I hate that guy. And you know what? I think I could take him too, because apparently he's got a glass jaw and no survival instinct whatsoever. Like, he was one of those kings that inherited the throne that nobody wanted on the throne. Man, did I untomb the wrong guy. May he rot in the deepest, deepest bowels of hell. I want Necrons to bury him even deeper after they bury their cities. Like I said though, I did play like crap though, like big, angry, stinky, hairy crap. And my opponent did exactly what he should have done and tabled me. I deserved it. And my opponent he's a damn good opponent. So to play as sloppy as I did against him, there was really only one inevitable outcome. The Ushabti were the only real saving grace, and I do believe that if it wasn't for the crumble checks, they'd probably still be in the fight, unless there's general charge in there. Then there was no hope for anyone. My skeleton archers do deserve some credit. They did do really well. They really did obliterate the rangers and stuff like that. It's just I didn't use them to their full capacity either, and that's on me. This new Glade Lord is scary. That spear where you're always wound on a 3 when you're already hitting on 2s, basically everything. I don't know why I don't see that more often. It's a hell of a weapon. I'm gonna have to really take that into account next time I encounter him. But you know what? I think I need a break from the undead. I think it's time for change. I feel something calling me, something that feels like home. I don't know what that means yet. So, the Tithe of Bones is not going to have a whole lot added to it, but I did collect some skulls. Some bones. I'm sorry, not skulls, bones. Wrong faction. I didn't get any of the characters because, yeah. In core, though, I was able to kill 8 of the scouts. Couldn't quite seal the deal on that last one, but what can I tell you? I'm incompetent. No Glade Guard were harmed in the making of this battle report, but one Glade Rider was, and you know what? I really don't like anything else, so putting one into the ground makes me happy. In special, sisters were fine, and there were no treekin, but I did take down 2 Wild Riders. Again, not a great trophy, but Wild Rider's dead is gonna make the king happy. There were no Warhawks, but I was able to catch the bounty on the 20 Wildwood Rangers. And the higher that number goes, the better. Those Rangers are so dangerous. And no War Dancers bother to come prance around in our battlefield. And of course, he had no rare choices, so that doesn't change at all. Just to look at the Chaos Dwarves and the Orcs and Goblins bounty that's still being sent up to the Tomb King of Hotep, not that useless one that was in a chariot. And then my Demons and Warriors of Chaos bounties stay the same, which I'm still very proud of.
Well, this one was painful, but another battle report is in the history books. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to put them in the comment section below, and I will get back to you as quick as I can. And as always, thanks.